I want to teach us wrestling. Because you cannot avoid it if you are going to engage at this level. And I have a lot of experiences along this line. It happens to be my area of competence. So I have experiences. I have what to say on this point. Hallelujah. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. There's a progression here that I'd like us to be acquainted with. My first question is, in what order of rank were these demonic entities listed? Because we'll start getting it wrong if the order is wrong. Started with principalities, then powers. Is it order of descending rank or order of ascending rank? Now, it is in order of ascending rank. Give me time. You need to know how the layout is and what these functionaries referred to as diamonium, because you are going to meet diamonium if you want to take a city. You are going to meet diamonium if you want to take a nation. You are going to meet diamonium if you want to take a continent. Now, principality, these are not demons. These are ranking demonic entities. These ones have rank. Now, you cast out devils. That's the instruction Jesus gave us. Cast out devils. Heal the sick. Now, the recommendation for these entities is not cast out, it's wrestle. Exactly. You still remember those days of wrestling? There's something called an uppercut. All right. I know you have forgotten, but I will remind you. The person that wins the fight, the wrestling fight, will never win without receiving uppercuts, hammer locks. But at the end of the day, you win. Are you afraid already? Oh yeah. We wrestle. You wrestle with this one. You don't cast them out. You wrestle with them. I want to teach us wrestling. Because you cannot avoid it if you are going to engage at this level. And I have a lot of experiences along this line. It happens to be my area of competence. So I have experiences. I have what to say on this point. Hallelujah. It's wine press. We are pressing the wine from different sides. We are pressing it from different. By all means, the wine will come out. Meanwhile, the Bible makes us to understand that just like Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, that in the end times, that's how the truth is going to be withstood. It is going to be a game of the supernatural. And that's why every believer in this age, in this time, will have to be equipped on how to wield the utensils of the supernatural if we are going to wreak havoc to the kingdom of darkness. We can weary Satan in the territory and he will back off. So principalities have the capacity to secure territory, and they secure territory by advertising the capacities that are inherent in Satan, that seem to make up for the deficiencies of mortals. So they use those products to lure people to seek satanic help. But unknown to them, every help that is sought from Satan enthrones Satan as the entity within that space. So principalities advertise Satan and secure territory from whence Satan can now establish an administration. Principalities cannot maintain the territory that they secure, but they know how to secure it. By the time the territory is secured, then we need powers. If you did elementary physics, power is the ability to do work. So when we talk power, we're talking about ability. So there are some spirits that have unique abilities. Some of them have capacities to intimidate. And so when you want to go to church so that you'll be liberated, it will send you a signal. And then you will find people that you invited to come to church never made it to church. Because there was an act of intimidation. A power was used to ensure that that person is kept within a certain boundary that will not take away the authority of darkness from his life. Oh, you are not with me. A power. Fear is a power. Somebody wants to come to church and then in the night fear goes and gives the person a very terrible nightmare, and it paints a picture, creates a vision, creates a dream, and the person wakes up and the interpretation comes to the conclusion of the fact that if I go there, something bad will happen to me. Like I said, those people serve God more. People that have touched Satan, when they see the love that is in God, they are under pressure to make themselves available so that God can use them as instruments. Now, those are powers, but powers are not very intelligent. They only have ability. It is the rulers that are intelligent. And it is the rulers that can actually trap down those territories that have been conceded to the enemy. And that's why they are called the magistrates. So the daimonion we are talking about are the rulers. I don't know. If you have been in Lagos, you don't travel. You don't come our way. Where rulers are in force, the way people marry, they marry according to the prescription of the rulers. Oh, you are not with me? Okay, you are in Lagos now. The items you need to bring that will make up the list they normally give you is prescribed. The protocol that is followed when someone is to be buried was prescribed. And as long as they keep doing that, the rulers will be energized to remain in control. And then by reason of those activities that take place in the territories, they claim that they have a right because the people have chosen to walk with them. Now Jesus is sending you. Meanwhile, that spirit believes it has some legitimacy to be in occupation of the same landscape that Jesus wants you to conquer. Hence, the way it's going to go is a way of wrestling. You see, that's why we need to draw courage. First of all, from the testimony. Even they were not expecting daimonion to be subject, but in their experience, what happened on the field exceeded their experience. Many things happened, but even the daimonion were subject to us in your name. I went somewhere to preach, and after preaching, the people that invited me said, "Oh, you need to relax. We'll take you to a resort close to a beach, and then you just run around, and maybe you lose 2 kg or so." I said, "Oh, good idea." Then when we got to the place, the fire of the Lord came on my head. I said, "Lord, there's nothing to kill here. People are they are running around. They are on holiday. There's nothing is at stake here." But the fire refused to go until 6 p.m. in the evening. I knew there was some work to do. So I went to the beach and I began to walk by the beach. And then my eyes opened. And I discovered that there was an instrument of transaction, spiritual transaction, that was domiciled in that place. And as long as that instrument of transaction is active, I don't want to call the name, there's an instrument. As long as that thing is active, it means that the empowerment has been given to a certain spirit in that landscape to rule. And as long as that spirit is ruling, it will darken the hearts and the minds of men away from the light of the glorious gospel. And the Lord made it clear to me that this is what I brought you here to bring down. Okay, the name of what I'm talking about is an altar. And that altar, we don't have them, we don't have a lot of them here. But I know we have one in Surulere because I stayed in Surulere. And I felt the beaming of the altar, and we traced it. It was somewhere there. It's very active, even though this is a metropolitan situation. Hallelujah. Civilizations are built on some of these things, and if we are going to take over, we cannot escape wrestling. So I began to curse that altar. I began to curse it, and while I was cursing it, people that were running on the beach, they began to manifest. I was not preaching. Oh, you are not with me. I was just praying, bringing down something there. When we finished, it was like 10 o'clock in the night. I went to sleep. You know, what I did was an uppercut. You don't win a wrestling fight because you gave an uppercut at the right place. The giant might fall down, but the game is not over. So when you know that you have struck the giant, what you do in the night, don't sleep. Because it's a wrestling. And if you are not aware of it, you have feedback. You are not with me. Now, okay. Let me ask you sincerely. How many of you have ever had a feedback before? Okay. So you are not totally new to what we are talking about. The reason was because when you gave the uppercut, you went back home to sleep. But the way it is done is after giving an uppercut, that night, you wake up and you begin to speak in tongues. Do it for 7 nights. The entity that is there will know that this one will not give up. He came to take. If the devil is aware of the fact that you will not give up, he'll give you space.